No babies. Oh, sit down, guys. Sit down. There you go.
A neighbor's a neighbor. Okay. Do you guys like to read? You know me, I love to read a lot. And I'm a great fan of Dr. Seuss. You guys listen to him? I love his books. Of all the wonderful characters that Dr. Seuss has created, my favorite is Gordon the elephant. Remember him? There was a cartoon movie called Gordon. Remember that one? Anyway, that's Gordon, a big elephant. Gordon is such a kind and compassionate character in the book, and I think the author learned a lot from that character. The book I have today, which I don't have, but you know the book, Gordon Hears a Who. At the beginning of the story, what happens in the movie? Gordon is splashing around in the jungle pool. Remember, he just having fun. He hears what? What does he hear? Small little voice crying for help. He looked around, of course, didn't see anyone, right? Yeah, and he saw a tiny little speck of dust floating just around, floating in the air. And Gordon realized there's someone in that itty bitty speck who was calling for help. As it turned out, there was a whole town of people living there, remember? And that little bitty speck of dust. They're calling out for help because they were afraid that the speck of dust would fall into a pool of water. What would happen to those people? They will drown, right? Even though they were so small, he couldn't even see them, Gordon made up his mind that he was going to help them. After all, he says, what did Jesus say? A person's a person, no matter how small. All of the other animals in the jungle thought Gordon was what? He was crazy. Just like the raccoon, and then there was those monkeys, and finally the eagle came, and they made fun of him for wanting to help the people in that little bitty speck of dust. Why? They even tried to put Gordon in a cage, remember? Even though none of the other animals would help him, Gordon refused to give up. He remained faithful to the task of saving the tiny people who needed his help. Because of his faithfulness, the tiny people were saved, and finally the other animals realized, just as Gordon said, a person's a person, no matter how small. The story of Gordon reminds me of a little bit of our Bible story today. One day, a lawyer asked Jesus what he had to do to have eternal life. Jesus asked him what the Bible said, and then the lawyer answered, love the Lord, your God, with all your heart, and love your neighbors as yourself. Jesus answered, you're right. Do this, and you will live. Then the lawyer, wanting to justify himself, asked Jesus another question. Who is my neighbor? He asked. To answer this question, Jesus told a story about a man who was traveling from Jerusalem to Jericho when he was attacked by robbers. They beat him real hard and took his money. They stripped him of his clothes and left him on the side of the road to die. A priest came by on the other side and saw the man. He crossed over to the other side of the road and continued his way. Didn't even bother to help him. A little while later, a Levite who walked to the temple came along. He saw the man. He crossed the other road and went on his way. Finally, a man from Samaria came along, and when he saw the man, he stopped to help him. He put medicine on his wounds and wrapped him up with bandages. And this isn't all he did. He took the man to an inn to take care of him. The next day, he gave the innkeeper some money and told him, give him anything he needs. If he needs anything else, let me know and I'll help pay for it. I'm here for him. Then he asked, which of these three men was a neighbor to the man who attacked him? The first, second, or third? Guys, the third guy, yes, you're right. Who attacked the robbers? The lion answered, the one who helped him. You are right, Jesus said. Now you go and do the same. Jesus has told us to love our neighbor. If you have trouble knowing who your neighbor is, just remember the story of Gordon Hears a Who and the story of the Good Samaritan. Then you will know that every person is your neighbor, and a neighbor is a neighbor, no matter how small. You ready for your prayer? Jesus, dear Father, help us to love you with all our hearts, and to love our neighbor as we love ourselves. Amen.
Amen.
All right.
We're going to